Let's paint Joshua Tree National Park. Early in 2022, I created a bunch of destination posters, and for this next one, I decided to revisit Joshua Tree National Park. A few years back, I created an illustration for this park, though as the image was circular, it wasn't really suitable for a poster, so I decided to paint it all again. When painting trees and foliage, I often tend to paint them by hand, which takes a lot of time. But there are definitely ways of speeding things up, especially through the use of different brushes. And I do experiment with different foliage brushes from time to time, and I actually used one for the shrubbery in the foreground. However, I haven't found one that works with my choice of brushes, which tend to be a bit more textured. And of course, I could potentially make my own foliage brushes that looks just the way I want, but I haven't had the time to sit down and try this out yet. There is no denying that I have a preference for what brushes I paint with, and in 2022 I started adding more brushes into my process. At present, I've actually got a brush folder with my regular go-to brushes, which makes it a lot easier for me to select the brushes I tend to gravitate towards. In Procreate, you can also save specific brush sizes that you tend to use, making sure that you can create consistent lines and mark making in your work. And if I'm working on specific projects or a series of images, I tend to create a separate brush folder with the brush sets that I used for those images. That way, if I need to make any amends, I can easily go back and select the correct brushes and brush sizes. I also create color palettes for specific projects, which really take the guesswork out of what colors I used for the images. The color palette for this image is the same one that I used for the destination poster I created for Oslo, and of course I made sure to use the same brushes, meaning that I went back to that half-tone brush for the sky. To create a human element in this image, I decided to paint a person in the middle ground, and as the foreground and middle ground are quite dark, I added a fire element to help the person stand out more. The fire also added additional lighting and contrast in the image. The finishing touches for this poster were done in Photoshop, though it was more than just adding text this time, as I hadn't allowed for enough room for the text. Therefore, I moved some of the elements around, ensuring that the text fit well within the poster. Thank you so much for watching. More process videos are up on my YouTube channel, and check out my social media accounts and my website for more of my work.